Thunder Pit, Chapter 22, Chad the Scapegoat. A clanking sound came from below, then a panting as of someone carrying a heavy weight. "That's enough," came Jake's unpleasant voice. "I can't carry no more." "Right, I can take the rest." The speaker was Torgan. "And that'll be the lot." "Good job too," said Jake sulkily. "And don't forget, we've got to take it through the house. And the woman's there, and the old man too." "You attend to your own business," retorted Torgan. "I'll see to that." There came a growl from Jake, but no words that Clive or Wanda could hear. Wanda turned to Clive. "Now's our chance," she said quickly. "They're going back into the cellar with the plate. If we slip down into the treasure place, we can let Chad and Jan loose." "You're right," said Clive. "Only don't say we. This is my job." "No, Clive, I must come too." "You're not coming, Wanda. Your job is to go back to the gap, cross it, and be ready to pull the plank away. It's on the cards that Grint may be there and chase us. It'll make all the difference if someone's ready there to pull the plank away the moment we're over." "I suppose you're right," said Wanda. "I know I'm right. I'm going now. You take the lantern. I have the flash." "Clive, you'll be careful," begged Wanda. "Be a fool if I wasn't," replied Clive as he started. Wanda watched till the tiny thread of light from his torch was lost round the curve, then turned and went quickly back up the passage. Clive moved down the slope as quickly as he dared. Seeing a sharp curve in front, he switched off his light, and that was just as well, because next moment he saw a glow in the distance. He also heard a shuffling of feet as of men carrying heavy loads. Torgan and Jake, he felt sure, though he could not see them. He paused a moment, then, since he could neither see nor hear anything else, went on again. Presently he realized that the passage was widening. He paused again and listened hard. He could still hear footsteps, but the light was gone and the blackness in front unbroken. This was a relief, for it meant that none of Torgan's men had been left behind. The sound of steps died away, but still Clive listened. He longed to switch on his light, but did not dare to do so. Then another sound came to his straining ears. It was someone breathing quickly, as if excited. This person, Clive realized, was not far off. Clive decided to risk it. "Chad?" he whispered. A moment's pause, then Chad's voice in a joyful whisper. "You, Clive, I knew you'd come. I told Jan. Jan there, too? I say, Chad, is it safe to switch on my light? You'll have to. We're tied neck and crop." "I think it's all right. Torgan and Jake have gone up to the cellar." "Where's Ben?" "Don't know. Haven't seen him. Quick, old lad, cut us loose." Clive hesitated no longer. He switched on the torch and, swinging his tiny beam across the rock floor, saw Chad flat on his back, barefooted, clad in nothing but his thin pajamas. Jan in shirt and trousers lay beside him. There was blood on Jan's face. Clive came across like a shot. "Are you hurt, Jan?" he whispered. "Took a fall, but ain't nothing to speak of. Cut me, Mr. Chad, loose." Clive had his knife ready. He slashed away the cords round Chad's wrists and ankles, and Chad was on his feet in a moment. "Here are your slippers," Clive said, as he pulled them out of his pocket. "You're a brick," said Chad with warm approval. "Hurry up with Jan. We have to get clear before those robbers come back." "They'll come back all right," Clive said. "Rachel has wedged the cellar door and Mr. Herriot is in the passage outside with his shotgun." "Good man," said Chad. "You got in by the cave, I take it?" "Wanda and I," Clive answered as he cut Jan loose. "Wanda's waiting up by the gap. If we bunk out that way and pull the plank after us, we have them boxed beautifully." "We'll have to hurry," Chad said. "We want to get back to the house and give the others a hand. Jake has an axe, and they'll tackle that cellar door for a certainty. They won't give up the treasure very easily." "They've got it, then?" "Every bit of it. Took 'em 4 journeys to carry it up to the cellar. It was all in that big chest there." He pointed as he spoke to a huge old wooden chest standing against the wall of the cave. Jan was loose. Clive tried to help him up, but Jan fell down again. "It be my head," he said hoarsely. "That fall. Give me a minute and I'll be better." The two boys looked at one another in dismay. Both knew that they had not a moment to waste. They ought to be running back for the gap as hard as they could go. "We'd better each take an arm and help him along," said Chad in a low voice. Before Clive could answer, there came another voice, Torgan's, and though distant, it came down the rock passage as if through a speaking tube. "The door's fast. The woman must have locked it." "I told you we'd ought to have tended to her afore we started," Jake snapped back. Torgin said something that was certainly not a blessing. His voice sounded savage as that of a trapped wolf. Then the boys heard him roar, "Open that door! Open it quick, whoever's the other side!" If there was any answer, the boys could not hear it. Then Torgin spoke again to Jake. "Go back to the cellar and fetch the prisoners. When they hear what we're doing to them, I'll lay they'll open the door quick enough." Clive spoke swiftly. "Come on, Chad. We have to get Jan out of this." Jan made a struggle to walk, but was so giddy he staggered and would have fallen if the boys had not caught and held him. Clive felt almost desperate. To have done so much and all for nothing was simply heartbreaking. "Take hold of him. We must carry him," he said fiercely. "Can't be done," returned Chad, and suddenly his face changed. "I've got it," he went on swiftly. "You and Jan hide behind that chest. I'll stand here and wait for Jake. When he sees me, I'll bolt. I can outrun him." "But he might shoot." "He won't. He wants me alive, not dead. Give me a torch and get behind the chest, quick as ever you can. Here, I'll give a hand." There was no time to argue, for already they could hear Jake coming down the passage, so Clive helped Chad to steer Jan in behind the chest. There was just room between the chest and the wall for the two to crawl in. But once there, they were completely hidden. The moment they were safe, Chad leapt away and ran noiselessly on slippered feet to the upper mouth of the treasure cave. He had Clive's torch, but as he reached the spot from which he meant to make his start, he switched it out. Next moment, Jake's light lit up the end of the opposite tunnel and the great gaunt figure of the man showed in its gleam. Chad was in a tight place and knew it, yet, in spite of this fact and of the deadly danger, the sight of Jake's face, when he saw that his prisoners had vanished, nearly made him laugh. The man's jaw fell, his eyes bulged. He stood staring at the spot where Chad and Jan had been lying as if he could not believe his senses. Then suddenly he came to himself. "They're gone!" he roared. "Torgin, they're gone!" It's the end of chapter 22.